Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradhari Jaya Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Vrajajana Ranjana Yashodanandana Vrajajana Ranjana Yashodanandana Vrajajana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jai Radha Madhava Radha Madhava Radhe Jaya Nitai Gauranga Jaya Nitai Gauranga Nitai Gauranga Jaya Nitai Gauranga Jaya Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jai Vamishpad Prahans Vyadikacharya Stotra Jata Sri Sri His Divine Grace Abhay Charanarvinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Vranda Devi Tulasi Marani Ki Vrandara Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Nitai Gaur Pranande Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tado Jayamudiraye Nashtaprayesha Padresho Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistaki. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam. Canto 3, Chapter 30. Discussions of adverse fruitive activities. Text number 22, 23 doesn't have purports. So I'll read myself. 24 we'll read it together. Text number 22. Kshitrita parito arkadavanalanilaih santapyamana pati tattavaluke Krichrena prishtem kashaya chataditas chalatyasakto api nirashramodake. Translation. Under the scorching sun, the criminal has to pass through roads of hot sand with forest fires on both sides. He is whipped on the back by the constables because of his inability to walk and is afflicted by hunger and thirst. But unfortunately, there is no drinking water, no shelter, no place for rest on the road. Text number 23. Tatra tatra patanchanto murchitaha punah uttitaha patapapi yasanitas tarasa yamasadhanam. Translation. While passing on the road to the abode of Yamaraja, he falls down in fatigue and sometimes he becomes unconscious, but he is forced to rise again. In this way, he is very quickly brought to the presence of Yamaraja. Text number 24. Please repeat after me. Yojanam sahasrani navatim navachadvanaha tribil muhurtir dvabhyam va Nitaha prapnoti yatana Yojananam sahasrani Navatim navachadvanaha Tribir muhurtair dvabhyam va Nitaha prapnoti yatana. What word meaning? Yojananam of yojanas, sahasrani thousands, navatim 90, nava 9, cha and advanaha from a distance, tribihi 3. Muhurtaihi within moments, dvabhyam 2, va or nitaha brought, prapnoti he receives, yatanaha punishments. Translation purport by His Divine Grace Abhay Charanaravindra Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Translation. Thus he has to pass 99,000 yojanas within 2 or 3 moments. And then he is at once engaged in the torturous punishment which he is destined to suffer. Purport. 1 yojana is calculated to be 8 miles. And he has to pass along a road which is therefore as much as 7,92,000 miles. Because 90,000 yojanas multiplied by 8 miles. Coming to close to 8 lakh miles. 7,92,000 miles. Such a long distance is passed over within a few moments only. 2 to 3 moments. The subtle body is covered by the constable so that the living entity can pass such a long distance quickly and at the same time tolerate the suffering. This covering, although material, is of such fine elements that material scientists cannot discover what the coverings are made of. To pass 7,92,000 miles within a few moments seems wonderful to the modern space travelers. They have so far traveled at the speed of 18,000 miles per hour. But here we see that a criminal passes 7,92,000 miles within a few seconds only. Although the process is not spiritual but material. Thus is the Bhaktivedanta purport. Om Jnanatimnandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshormilitam Nena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Namam Vishnupadaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Nitinamine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Shunyavade Vachyata Deshadarine Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhaktarinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Please repeat the translation. Thus, he has to pass 99,000 yojanas within 2 or 3 moments, and then he is at once engaged in the torturous punishment which he is destined to suffer. So, we are seeing what kind of suffering a person has to go through who indulged in adverse fruitive activities. In Shastra, there are 3 kinds of activities are mentioned. Why it is specifically mentioned adverse fruitive activities? There is activities of 3 nature. One is karma. Karma means sanctioned activities in the scriptures, prescribed activities as per the Varnashma system, recommended in the scriptures. There's another class is that akarma, essentially referring to devotional service, which doesn't result any, forget about punishment, it doesn't result even in pious credits also. We have to serve the Supreme Personality of Godhead, but that is limited to spiritual world, not to suffer or enjoy the reactions in this material world. All that activities lead the path towards spiritual world, spiritual life. So karma, akarma and vikarma. This whole chapter deals about the vikarma. Result, what will happen to the person who engaged in vikarma. Vikarma means prohibited activities. How do you know it is prohibited? That is also mentioned in the scriptures. These are activities or vikarmas. These activities are prohibited. Don't do such kind of activities. If you do such kind of activities, what will happen? This is the whole descriptions. Adverse fruitive activities. So the 2 things are mentioned in this chapter. One is how a typically attached to prohibited actions or adverse fruitive activities. How that person is attached to such unrestricted sense gratification. Due to that, he is driven towards these sinful activities. What is meant by unrestricted sinful activities? That means restricted sinful activities is okay. Actually, in that sense, in the Karmakanda section, sanction is there for sense gratification. It's not that sense gratification is all prohibited. Sense gratification is permitted. If you engage in sense gratification as recommended in the scriptures, in Varnashram system, he doesn't require to suffer in hellish conditions like this. He doesn't require it. Only people who are indulged in forbidden unrestricted sense gratification, they have to go through all these things. So essentially 2 things are mentioned. One is, what are the ways the ignorant person is engaged? He goes through such kind of unrestricted sense gratification, ignorant about scriptures, ignorant about the goal of life. He'll go through such kind of unrestricted sense gratification. Then what are the consequences he has to, such indulgence leads to? What is that he has to go through? What kind of consequences he has to go through? So these are the 2 subject matters discussed in this chapter. If you recollect the beginning, first 13 to 14 slokas dealt about how an attached family man engaged in unrestricted sense gratification, they get too much attached, and for that he has to work very hard to maintain that family, and in the process of maintaining the family, he is forced to indulge in sinful activities. So then what will happen to such kind of person? So all that is explained further this later portion of the chapter. So what is explained here specifically is very subtle process. What is said here? Under scorching sun, criminal has to pass through roads of the sand with forest fires on both sides. He is whipped on the back by the constables because of the inability to walk. He is not able to walk, but still you are forced to walk. And he is afflicted by hunger and thirst, but there is no water or food available for him. No shelter, no place to rest on the road. He is dragged, practically is dragged. While passing on that road on the board of Yamaraja, he falls down in fatigue, and sometimes becomes unconscious, but he doesn't die. He is forced to rise again. In this way, is very quickly brought to the presence of Yamaraja. So now, one can think that how it is possible. Somebody has become unconscious, no water is supplied, still is chased, and that too, how many? 7,92,000 miles he has to travel. 7,92,000 miles. No food, no water, no strength in the body. How that is possible? So what is discussed here is actually about the whole subtle process. The soul has given up the gross body. That is called death. And how the soul has given up the body is not that he gave up. The kala forcefully taken away. He gave up the body because by the force of kala. Otherwise very attached. He doesn't want to. If option is given, choice is given, he don't want to give up. He don't want to give up, that's how he is suffering. And one of the reason, at the time of giving with the body, why person so much suffers. First of all, body itself giving trouble. Second thing is because of its attachment is not willing to give up. That's how we go through more pain. More than the suffering what is going through body. But still he is holding. What he is holding? Subtle body. Gross body is given up because of that attachment which is registered, the perception registered in the mind. Subtle body is holding. And that subtle body takes him to whether if he is a punyatma, he'll take to the next immediately next body. He doesn't need to go through all this. Doesn't need to go through all such kind of punishment. If he is dharmatma, he is punyatma. If he is abided by the varnashram system, the prescribed duties, performing prescribed duties, which is a gradual process to progress in spiritual life. He'll go to another womb, but he'll take another birth, punarjanma, but he knows to go through all these sufferings. But that body, that subtle body takes him to the next life. Yam yam vapi smaran bhavam tejitiyante kalevaram. He goes to the next body again. Gross body. He accepts one more body. But why this subtle body is holding to subtle body? Because of sinful activities. Because of the impressions he is carrying. What happens? By indulging in sinful activities or unrestricted sense gratification, he is not able to forget. He is not able to give up those impressions. And what is the harm if he is holding such kind of impressions? If somebody is having so much of, unrestricted sense gratification, the biggest problem is he encroaches others' rights. He encroaches. He commits violence. Somehow or other, in the previous chapter, text it said, by hook or crook, somehow or other he wanted to earn money. Even he doesn't hesitate to commit violence for the purpose of earning money. And why is earning money? To maintain the kutumba bharanam, to maintain the family. So hence such kind of person is actually suitable candidate for such kind of punishment in the hellish conditions. So this subtle body is holding a lot of all the karma vasanas and impressions, and one will be able to remember all his sinful activities, whatever he performed while he's traveling, while he's taking away. In the last class we discussed that how when a person is dragged and he is taken to the hell, on the path, on the road, front, the Yamadutas dragging him with the rope tied to his neck, and behind the dogs are eating him, biting him. So when dogs are biting him, actually these dogs are reminding him all those sinful activities, why he is into such kind of suffering situation. He'll be able to remember all that. That is one time. Then later on, after the punishment happens in the hell, then again, because in the midst of this, some good things he would have done. Naturally, again he has to take birth in this world. Whichever way. So again he has to enter another womb. Especially in the human form of body. If at all, if he comes to human form of body, in the human form of body, in the womb of the mother, in the final month he will be able to remember all the sinful activities again. That description comes in the next chapter. The child in the womb of the mother. The descriptions are there. So, first of all, when you give up the body, when you are going to the hell, you will be able to remember, when the dogs are biting, you will be able to remember all of the sinful activities. And second thing is, again when we enter the womb, if at all we are fortunate enough to enter the womb of a human being, then there in the 9th month, so much of pain, we'll be able to remember the Lord. We'll be able to remember all sinful activities, what we did. But still it doesn't strike us, you see. That's why in the Bhagavatam, 3rd canto, these descriptions are there. And the same descriptions are there in the 5th canto also. In 5th canto also, in the last chapter, that what kind of punishment, the hellish conditions, what kind of punishments are in the hell, all those are described here. So, he has said that how three things are mentioned. One is provided with the body, tayor nirbhinna vridayas. Before that, yatana deha avritya. When a person died, a sinful person, the person is very attached to the family life, and due to his unrestricted sinful activities, unrestricted sense gratification, he committed very severe sinful activities, and because of that, at the time of the death, Yamadutas comes and provide a Yatana Deha. He will be provided with a suffering body. Then he will be able to experience all that Dandayam. All the punishment is given. He will be able to experience with that subtle body. That Vetana body is a subtle body, not a gross body. To take up the gross body, again you have to take birth. In the subtle body, you will be able to experience all that punishment. Then he can remember all the sinful activities of life. Anusmaranam. He will be able to remember all those sinful activities what he performed. So the whole thing is, everything is happening just kshanas, in the minutes. That we discussed how in a dream, in a few minutes, things, a dream come, everything, whole story runs there. We have taken birth, or we have gone to, in that we have become king. Then somebody attacked, and all that pain, we'll go to pleasure, we'll go through pain and pleasure, everything go through. Everything happens in few moments. Then we wake up, nothing will be there. Nothing will be there. Everything is fine. But sometime we'll remember those pains. Some dreams we'll remember. So like this, Yamadharmara is actually punishing all of us when we give up this body. So Bhagavatam says, this subtle body, that everything is provided. He says here that all these things are experienced in just moments. The subtle body has such kind of capacity, such kind of ability. It has in just Tribir Muhurter Dvabhyam. Tribir Muhurte Dvabhyam. दो से 3 मिनट में, मिनट नहीं, moments. In 2 to 3 moments, Muhurtair, all this one has experiencing so much of pain. Not only that, he is traveling 7,92,000 yojanas. And Prabhupada says here that a material scientist cannot discover what is covering is made of. What is this? Even though it's nothing to do with the spirituality here. It's the very finest material, finest elements. The covering is, although material, is of such fine elements that material scientists cannot discover what the covering are made of. Generally, our idea is that if anything is not visible, it doesn't exist. It's all stories. Who knows, who has seen? Actually, anything I can't perceive, now we conclude that it doesn't exist. It's not really so. Dogs barks sometime. Nothing will be there. But dog is able to see what a human cannot see. Dog is able to hear what a human cannot hear. It is said that actually if a person dies, you see nearby if dogs are there, dogs keep not barking, actually keep dogs crying or in a fear. Also dog also yells like, very long sound it produces. Barking is bow bow, bow bow is barking. The dog yells very long, like a whistle kind of sound it gives. So it is said that actually dog is able to see that Yamadutas. They have that person. They have that capacity to see. So dogs are able to see, but humans are not able to see. But here, so-called scientists, they say that all these stories, nothing is there. See, whether you accept or don't accept, whether you believe or don't believe, the laws of nature are infallible. It will work. It never fails. Probably we can escape from the man-made laws. Man-made laws, many times people ask, why a bad man is enjoying, a good man is suffering in this world. Yes, bad or good, in what context we are saying in this world? And what is the context in which context of suffering or enjoying? In the context of this material, what is visible in this world, we think that the enjoyment is enjoyment. Actually, that enjoyment is a severe punishment which is awaiting for him. Awaiting. Because such kind of enjoyment by performing sinful activities, by indulging in sinful activities, he is just accumulating the punishment. then how is he able to enjoy? Because this world is, today, the world has to run as for the Lord's design, the laws of nature, how humans should conduct in human society. That is already given, the laws are given. But today, the world has rejected the laws made by God, the scriptural injunctions. So they started making their own constitutions everywhere. A constitution means what? Rights and duties and punishments. These are what the constitution mentions. There are rights for the humans, the citizens, and there are duties they're supposed to perform. And the punishment if you don't perform your duties appropriately as per the state laws. But these laws are made by humans who have all the defects. So that's how we see the expert lawyers, they can find some loopholes to take you out of the, even though you did crime, but expert lawyers can take you out of the court or out of jail, the bail or something like that. They can easily take out because they'll find some loopholes they will find. Even though to the naked eyes, everybody knows that there's a murder has happened and this person is indulged, but still they say they're not able to establish the proof, something like that. They say and they release him. Why the system is like that? So man-made laws have all loopholes. So the criminal-minded people, they will always, they can break laws in that sense here. It's not so big deal. But the laws made by the Lord are infallible. Infallible. Prabhupada says one of the purport, in Kali Yuga, everything can be purchased. Everything can be, including judgments. Kali Yuga is like that, so polluted. But nobody can escape from Mrityu. Especially people who indulge in such kind of activities, Mrityu nobody can escape. But after Mrityu, what will happen? This procedure, that Yamadanda is infallible. Then next question comes, why Lord made such kind of things so invisible? Why can't it be, all that is happening in one moment, 2 to 3 moments, everything is, so much of suffering is going through. If all these things probably visible, probably people become alert. See, if everything is in front of you, you will not be able to exercise your free will to enjoy or suffer. Because everybody has come here to enjoy. Everybody has come here to become master. If everything is known to you, then then you will be binded. You cannot do anything. So it is basically interfering with your free will. You misused your free will and came here to become master. And here everything is shown to you, then what will happen? You will be restricted. You will not be able to do anything. So it is interfering with your free will. That's how Lord doesn't want it to interfere with your free will. But He wanted to exercise your free will to come out of this Maya's influence. And for that reason, Lord comes here and gives directions how to live in this world and how to leave this material world, both. Kaise jeena hai, kaise chodna hai duniya ko. So these things are given in the scriptures. That is the purpose of the scriptures. Just like if you purchase any instrument and any equipment, the manual to use that equipment is also given. So similarly, Lord has designed this material world for our purification, for our correction, and how to live in this world is also provided. The whole manual is given to all of us. And for that reason only the scriptures are there. Among all the scriptures, Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam is the foremost subject matter. So the purpose behind these vivid descriptions of the hellish conditions are, as explained in the chapter, and also in the 5th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, the very reason is that the greedy person in this world, or suffering person in this world, suffering people, the worldly people, should stop unrestricted sense gratification. Otherwise one has to go through or such kind of hellish, to restrain the person who is indulged or constantly getting engaged in the sense gratification. Actually, if you see the Garuda Purana, the whole descriptions, what we are hearing is this, the whole Garuda Purana, huge, vivid, detailed explanations are there. And whenever a person dies, till 13 days or 11 days or 13 days, the Garuda Purana is studied. As in some families it is read even for 1 month. Whole month, every day Garuda Purana they read. At least minimum 13 days they read. Generally is said is meant for the departed soul. Actually, reading Garuda Purana is not meant for departed soul. Where departed soul can hear? Departed is already gone. He lost the ability to hear while not only after death, even before death also he lost the ability to hear. In Jara, in the old age, especially on the deathbed, he's already lost the ability to hear. So after death, how can he hear? So the Garuda Purana Parayana is meant for the family members who are there, the family members of that the person who left. For them, they could take precaution. This person has already died without knowing all these things. Now what kind of suffering he has to go through in the hell? Oh, so much suffering he has to go through. Now, so all the other family members should take precautions. So at least now, let us not. See, Pinda Pradhana, that is meant for the soul. That is the Vishnu worship. Vishnu worship will have a everlasting effect, because Vishnu worship is not for Deha, it is for the soul. It will benefit the soul. But Garuda Purana, the all subject matter, all these things are meant for cautioning. Scriptures are meant for living person, not for dead person. Scriptures are meant for living person. Scriptures are manual for living, no. So when we read all these descriptions, it's supposed to, alert us to be cautious in our life. That's why we said in one of the Bhagavatam sloka, 4th canto, it says, Sangrahena mayakyataha pratisargas tavanaga trihi strutaitvatvam puman punyam vidinoti atmano amalam. The very purpose, one who hears these descriptions 3 times. The Prabhupada also said, Bhagavatam, how many times should be read? Minimum? Bhagavatam minimum should be read 3 times. He says, Trihi Shutvaitat Etat. Any person who reads, who hears this description 3 times, Puman Punyam Vidinoti Atmano Amalam. Any person who hears these descriptions 3 times, he attained piety, Puman Punyam, he'll attain piety, Punyam, then Vidinoti Suridam Satam. Vidinoti means purification. He washes, Vidinoti Atmano Amalam. He washes the sinful contamination from his soul. Because sinful contamination is covering the soul, and if we hear these descriptions 3 times, 3 Shutvaita Etat, Puman Punyam Vidinoti Atmano Amalam. The one who hears these descriptions 3 times attains piety and washes the sinful contamination from the soul. So, why? Because the person is performing unrestricted sinful activities. That is called adharma. He is not following dharma. Dharma means prescribed duties. And the one who is not performing prescribed duties, naturally opposite to that is unrestricted sensory gratification, sinful activities. He performs sinful activities. Because of that, he is suffering in this world. And attachment and malam, contaminations. Atma is covered by contaminations. To become free, he has to read the scriptures. He has to read scriptures, especially Srimad Bhagavatam, minimum 3 times. Minimum 3 times. Devotees should have goals. Prabhupada said Bhagavad Gita minimum. Of course, we should keep reading. Minimum 10 times. Bhagavatam minimum 3 times. Chaitanya Charitamrita, come se come 1 time. Of course, a devotee who completes 10, 3, 1, then he'll get so much attached, so much attracted to Chaitanya Charitamrita, he'll be merged in that consciousness. Otherwise, what will happen? The sinful activity is haunting. That we are always talks about that how the vasanas are just like wine bottle. That vasanas are sticking so strongly. These things are sticking. And root cause for that impressions are sinful activities. Root cause. Prahlad Maharaj says in the Bhagavatam, he says, Vidwan apita, Vidwan api, even though he is a learned person, Vidwan api itam dhanuja kutumbham poshanartam. Even though he is a very learned person, but for the sake of maintaining the family, what he does? Swalokaya nakalpati vai yahasviya parakya vibhinna bhavai tamaha prapadyeta yata vimudaha. Due to ignorance. He says, those who are apparently advanced in education, even though, vidwan api, who are apparently advanced in education, have the propensity to consider. Propensity. Even though he is a learned person, but has a propensity inside. What is that? I am this body, this is mine, and that is for others. And thus they are always engaged in providing necessities of life for their family members in a limited conception of family life, just like uneducated cats and dogs. They are unable to take the spiritual knowledge. Instead, they are bewildered and overcome by ignorance. What is it? Tamaha prapadyeta yata vimudaha. Yata vimudaha. Yata vimudaha. Just like a person without education or one who is like animal. Yata vimudaha. And about whom he is speaking? Prahlad Maharaj is teaching to his friends in the classroom. He is talking about Vidwan. A Vidwan also behaves like Vimuda, behaves like animal, behaves like ignorant person. Why? Because of Kutumbham Pushnan. Because he owns it, this is my family. And because he is owning the bereft of spiritual knowledge and Poshana, just to maintain that family, and he is indulged in all that kind of activities. Limited conception of family life. So, this is what exactly Krishna also says in the Bhagavad Gita. He says, Kamayesha, Krodayesha, Rajoguna Samudbhava. This desire or this whole thing, why a person engages in sinful activities? Because of Rajoguna. And what Prahlad Maharaj said, Tamoguna. So this Rajoguna, Tamoguna, these are lower modes. Unless somebody rises above lower modes, he will not be able to come out of these sinful activities. Very difficult. We can keep giving pravachans. If we don't adopt a process by which we can rise above the modes, the process is chanting Hare Krishna Mantra. Process is attending Mangalarti. Process is to live among the devotees, in the association of devotees. This is the process. If you don't chant in the Brahma Muhurta time, if you don't chant with the devotees, if you don't chant in the temple hall, we will not be able to invoke that Sattva-guna in us. Because that is everything. Sattva-guna, as for the Kala, time. Sattva-guna prevails in the morning hours, especially in the Brahma Muhurta time. Very conducive for spiritual activities. And the temple hall is Shuddha Sattva, not even Sattva-guna. The deities are there, Guru is there, and every day Bhajan Kirtan is going on. In fact, our temple hall is actually Garbhagriha. Our temple hall is not just a hall, it is a Garbhagriha. We have 2 Garbhagrihas. One Garbhagriha, the Archamurti, the Lord Virajman hai. The Lord is there in the Garbhagriha, one Garbhagriha. And another Garbhagriha, holy name is there. Sankirtan is going on. So practically you are in the spiritual world. Garbhagriha means that Garbhagriha is not just 4 walls. That's where Lord resides. So just see, Samahi, the place, the space, and the time, and the Sangha association, how much important to utilize this opportunity for us to raise this above the lower modes and come to the, be situated in. So solution is one thing. Only solution to overcome this lower modes is that Mam Chayo Avyabhicharena Bhakti Yogena Sevate. Uninterrupted devotion service. Uninterrupted means, practices में generally हम बोलते हैं ना ups and downs होता है spiritual life में. Ups and downs. How to avoid that ups and downs? Uninterrupted. Undeviated. Unfailing in all circumstances. What is that recently said? Why attendance is less? Prabhu, Thandi Mausam hai Prabhu. Something was discussed recently. Thandi Mausam hai, sab log so raha hai. No, unfailing in all circumstances. If at all we are interested to raise above these lower modes. Very difficult, very difficult. Anytime anything can happen. So one has to be alert. Just like in the war field, one can't take chance of being inattentive. If you're inattentive, सामने वाला के मारेंगे आपको. At every moment one has to be in the war zone. A soldier has to be alert. So Prabhupada also said that it is a war against Maya. Especially somebody dedicate his life. Maya is very tikshana. Maya is more focused on that person. Really dedicated or thoda drama kar raha hai? Whether really has that dedication, that surrender. Because such kind of surrender is very rare now in this world. How come suddenly one person is trying to surrender? Well, let me check. What is it? Pulling energy. Maya has 2 energies. No? One is covering, another is pulling. Avaranatmika and Prakshepatmika. Prakshepatmika. Pull you down. So it is a war kind of this thing. We have to be very attentive. We have to be a little careful. Otherwise Maya kidnaps. You heard any time a person kidnaps, what they do immediately? First thing what they do? They drag. After dragging, what they'll do? Kidnap. Generally, you won't have heard, no, or watched in some, before coming to ashram, you would have watched movies. Kidnap is first a person is dragged. Then immediately what they'll do? Put a mask or anesthesia. Basically, you have to be put into no more consciousness, no more control. That's what exactly Maya is doing. Maya has kidnapped us. Of course, here the kidnappers have ill motivation. Here, in this world, kidnappers have ill motivation. The person is very innocent who is getting kidnapped. But in this case, the culprit is not Maya. Culprit is not Maya. We are culprits. We desire to get kidnapped. Okay, come, please. I want. Misused our free will. Once you misuse our free will, then kidnap is happening. Then what is that? Anesthesia. Anesthesia was Rajoguna and Tamoguna. Anesthesia means you lost, no more conscious about who are you, where are you come from. See, today we are able to talk all these things because some Sattva-guna has prevailed in us. By Prabhupada's mercy, by sadhana, some Sattva-guna prevailed. That's how we are able to freely talk. Whether we realize it or not, at least we are able to talk about it. Otherwise, Vimudhatma means like animal, a person like animal. That means what? Is Rajoguna and Tamoguna. Is driven by Rajoguna and Tamoguna. So immediately Maya puts Rajoguna and Tamoguna, covering. Then that's all. You can never get out of it. Never get out of it. And so much of it, the people also sometimes they suffer, they repent also sometimes. Oh, गलती किया था इसके कारण से मुझको तकलीफ हो रहा है. I did sinful activities. So let me do some prayachita. atonement. They go to some punya kshetras, tirthasthalas, they go to Ganges to take bath. But we know in the Bhagavatam, the whole description comes in the Bhagavatam, no? Which canto? 5th canto in the beginning, 6th canto, Ajamila story, prior to Ajamila story. Parikshit Maharaj asking Shukadeva Goswami, and Shukadeva Goswami giving various options to come out of the sinful activities. How to get rid of these sinful activities? He says, atonement. You should go and take bath in the Ganges. Then Parikshit Maharaj says, no, how that is? Even though you can escape from hell, no doubt. You can escape from the reactions. But the tendency is there still. Tendency is there. Okay, now you escaped going to the hell, but again you take birth again. When you take birth, what will happen? Again you will commit sinful activities. The tendency, as long as tendency is there, just like a thief, he comes out of the jail. Jail is meant for what? Punishment. Punishment is meant to reform. Every thief who is coming out of the jail is getting reformed? No. People go to the jail, and after 2 years, 3 years when they release, again they come, again they do mistakes. Again. So that's how you see there is a, what is it called, habitual offender, बोल के police record में कोई record होता है, और लगा देते, photo लगा देते police station में. ये आदमी ना, जब भी crime होता है तो police उनके पास चले जाते पहले. यही किया हो क्या? यही किया होगा. So that means, even though you are put into punishment, after completing that punishment, if you come out, again there is a possibility to commit that kind of crime, because you are not completely purified. So atonement is like that. One is not completely purified. Then next is given Vedanta. One has to, Jnana Marga has to choose Vedanta subject matter. No, finally all these things are rejected by, because anyway Shukadeva Goswami was testing Parikshit Maharaj whether he accept any method, or he is looking for a sublime method. So when Parikshit Maharaj rejected all those things, then Shukadeva Goswami gives the final verdict. He gives there, Kechit Kevalaya Bhaktya Vasudeva Parayana. Kechit Kevalaya Bhaktya Vasudeva Parayana. For what purpose? Agham Dhanvanti Karshnyena Niharam Iva Bhaskaraha. Niharam Iha Bhaskaraha. Just like that Niharam Iva Bhaskaraha, the moment sun comes, all the mist goes away. Likewise, if one engaged in the service of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Kechit Kevalaya Bhaktya Vasudeva Parayana. Just by performing, only means only by performing devotional service unto Vasudeva Krishna, then Agham Dhanvanti Karshneya. Agham Dhanvanti. Agham means sinful activities. Dhanvanti, he will become completely purified by sinful activities. So that is mentioned. So the next question is there any possibility in this world, in this life, not doing any sinful activities? Is there any possibility? No. Impossible. Impossible to not to become totally sinless life in this world. Impossible. Because the world is designed like that. Best example is the Bhagavatam gives the Nriga Maharaj. Nriga Maharaj, such a pious person, such a pious king. He actually Dharmatma he is. He has not committed any mistake for that matter. But what happened next life? He is cursed to take a lizard. In the next life he has taken the form of lizard, big lizard, and that into Dwarka. He was there, that dry well, he was there, and some children saw that this thing, and well, then Krishna goes and touches the lizard, then he takes the form and he goes to heavenly planets. So what happened to Nripa's, King Nriga's life in the previous life? He did not commit any sinful activity as such man. In fact, he is so much pious king. He was giving so much of charity. He had so many cows. So in a good day, one auspicious day, he is given some cows to one Brahmana. Then without his knowledge, without anybody's knowledge, one cow from that group, he has come back to his Goshala. And without knowing that, on another day, another set of cows he has given to another Brahmana in charity. So now the first Brahmana came to know that the cow, I don't know how he found out that that particular cow is there with other. So many cows was there. So, but he figured out that one cow which he received as a donation is there with the other Brahmana. He goes and questions to other Brahmana, my cow, this is my cow. I got donation from the king, so please give my cow. That second Brahmana says, no, it is my cow. I got donation from the king. I will not give. So, between two Brahmanas there is Jagada. There is a fight. So finally they go to the king. So king says, yes, I don't remember, but anyway, by mistake it has happened. Sir, second Brahmana, you please give the cow to the first Brahmana. He doesn't accept. Both doesn't accept. So both together they cursed him. So what is his fault? So the point here is, even unintentionally, you will commit some mistake in this world. Unintentionally also. How many ants we are killing? How many mosquitoes are we killing? Not unintentionally, even intentionally also we will kill, no? So how can we lead a sinless life in this world? Or probably we can say that, why can't we live a mostly sinless life in this material world? Arey Baba, impossible. Because ultimately we will continue the journey in this material world as Janma Mrityu Jara Vyadi. Constantly we are going through it. Constantly we are going through it. The world is designed such a way. So only means to get out of this world, and to free from such kind of painful punishments is that Kechit Kevalaya Bhaktya Vasudeve Parayana. Only by performing devotional service unto Kevalaya Bhaktya. Kevalaya Bhaktya is not just Bhakti, not a mission of Bhakti. Kevalaya Bhaktya. Only. There is no other. This is what exactly Krishna also said in the Bhagavad Gita. Sarvadharman Parityajya Mam Ekam Sharanam. Mam Ekam Kevalaya. Only by performing devotional service we can become free from this entanglement. We'll stop here in question or comments.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, as it is mentioned that within few moments the soul who is impious travels to the Yam Loka. So within few moments it will cover. But I remember in one of the class of Sampati Prabhu, he was taking class on Garud Puran or something. So he told that there are three types of soul which traveled according, like if it is a dharmatma, like he is a devotee but not able to complete his devotional service. So he will get next body within 3 hours. And if he is a dharmatma, so he will get after 1 day. And it is a papatma, then he will get body after 1 year. So in that Prabhu also mentioned that because he was impious soul, he was traveling to Yam Loka for 1 year. So how to understand this few movement?
No, Bhagavatam gives only essence of the whole Vedic literature. Bhagavatam is not interested to describe all such kind of matter. It is giving the essence. Essence is that on the road what is happening, the distance. After going there, whether you will suffer 1 year, 2 years, that further is going to come in this very sloka. So, what is the kind of suffering, what is described here only on the path, only on the road. While going, dogs are biting, you are feeling thirsty, you have become unconscious, you are not able to walk, you don't have energy, you are dragged, all these things are happening. But after going there, what will happen? That if you hear, that's all. Turant kevalaya, kechit kevalaya bhakti, turant. But the problem is, after hearing also, we don't hold up to. That is a misfortune. It's a misfortune.
Krishna Prabhu. So these few moments, are these the moments of the earthly planet, or are these different moments? Because when we say suffering in few moments, it just doesn't mean suffering really, right? Whereas,
Because ultimately, subtle things are very difficult to assess. Subtle subject matter very difficult to assess. What plane? First of all, you tell me, where is Yamaloka? Where is Yamaloka? Very difficult to assess. Very difficult to assess. So this is a subject, but these are there. How do you know these are there? Huh? Bhagavatam said. Bhagavatam said, a person who has a faith on the scriptures, anyway, even common man, when we talk about a common man, how do you know? All such kind of descriptions are there. See, if there is a water, there is a sweat. Sweat is a namak pani. Is a salty water. There has to be a salty ocean. That's how salt water is here. There is a milk in the mother's breast, which is meant for poshana. Milk in the mother's breast is meant for poshana. And that's how the maintainer, the poshana, Kshirodakshaya Vishnu is lying in the milk ocean. There is a garbha jala in the mother's womb, which is meant for creation. One is poshana. Kshirodakshaya Vishnu is meant for poshana, is maintaining this world. And there is a water in the mother's womb, which is able to create the body for the Atma. The creative elements are there in the Garbha Jala. And there is a Garbha Jala ocean. Garbha Jala ocean. So like that, there is a link for everything. Anything is available here is actually the source somewhere else. What is available here is only Bindu. It drops. What you get sweat is only Bindu. No? So only drops you get. But you will see there is a ocean. Salt ocean is there. So by seeing there is a salt ocean and there is any connection, there is a pipe between this body and that ocean. There is any pipe connection is there? Subtly it is there. What is the subtle is there? This body is made out of Panchabhutas, part of this cosmic material creation, and this ocean is also part of the cosmic material creation. There's a connection is there. Connection has to be seen in a very higher level. So likewise, there is a pain in this world, suffering in this world, there should be ocean of pain somewhere. There is sweat here, there is a ocean of sweat. There is a milk here, there is a ocean of milk. There is a Garbhajala here, there is a ocean of Garbhajala. There is a pain here, there is a ocean of pain, that is hell. And there is a Sukha here, there is a ocean of Sukha, which is Vaikuntha. There is joy you will experience in the service of the Lord. Not that Sukha, not Iha Sukha. Iha Sukha is not Sukha. Iha Sukha is actually pain. There is a joy in serving the Lord. Sample joy. Here is everything is sample. The material world, everything is sample. The sample joy is there because the source is there in the spiritual world. So like that, how do you know that there is Yamaloka? Yamaloka means suffering loka. Because we are seeing suffering here. We are only seeing sample. Bulk is there. Ocean is there. The kind of sufferings are, unimaginable. What we are able to suffer here, imaginable. What is experiencing is imaginable suffering. Unimaginable suffering will get there. Ocean of suffering. That's how samsara. Samsara, samsara sagara. We'll stop here. Grandhara Srimad Bhagavatam ki. Vishwaguru Srila Prabhupada ki.
तो ऐसे डे वाइज फिक्स करवा दीजिए ना, जिस दिन आओगे इसमें 500 मिल जाएगा।
5000 तो उसका मिलेगा, 7000 तो हम लोग देते हैं।
स्टार्ट नहीं हुआ है।
लेकिन ऐसे केस में एवरीडे नहीं आएगा ना।
बाहर में कितना रेट है?
अच्छा,
Mm-hmm.